Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. We had a short to medium meeting last night, and among the things we did were update from the sewer director about the current sewer extension project that's going on. And he warned us that, not warned us, but let us know that right now the sewer project is moving out of the paved areas because the asphalt plant's about to shut down for a period of time because it's going to start getting too cold to pave. And so they're going to move into the dirt road areas, which don't need to be repaved at the end of the day. But they can't do the areas that need to be repaved because there's not going to be anything to repave them with. Long story short. Okay. We had the airport manager in talking a little bit about the crosswind situation.
Yeah, he actually came on. He'll be on this week on Front Up too.
Okay.
Jason interviewed him. So,
okay.
But you can give us an...
Well, I don't know all the details about it, but in a nutshell, it sounds like there are renovations that need to be done, which necessitate the closure of the restaurant, plus the lease is expiring, and they need to do an RFP to keep it going. And the current owner
a glitch in the system.
There was a glitch in the system.
That's why we're finding this out now.
Right.
Yeah.
Regardless,
right.
It sounds like they would, in order to do the renovations, it would have to close for a period of time.
But it is going to bid.
But it is going to bid.
So if you're a restaurateur out there and you think you got a good idea.
And they were going to try to maybe work the gift shop into the bid too,
yes,
I think, because that's been a bit of an issue
That's
too.
a great idea.
So that is very unfortunate for people who are frequent customers.
I love the place.
I know, me too. So it's a shame, but hopefully we can get over it quickly. All right, we had some real estate issues. We had a noise bylaw request from the sewer department. So they have this camera truck that's going around inspecting sewer lines, mostly in the Mid-Island area right now. And I think we well realized, I got caught up in it myself the other day, that it kind of is a bit of a pain from time to time because it takes up some of the road, traffic gets backed up, blah, blah, blah. But it isn't necessary to be done. But in order to try to prevent that sort of traffic thing from happening, there is talk about doing the work at night, which might get a little bit loud. Not super overly loud, but generator noise loud, and lighting would be involved. So the board said, yes, let's try to get it done at night rather than holding things up during the day. We had a couple of telephone petitions. Keeper's Restaurant got approval to switch their liquor license from wine and malt to all alcoholic. The board renewed all of the annual licenses, liquor, entertainment, common victualler, all that stuff. And we had a hearing on some amendments to the traffic rules and regulations, and specifically that had to do with commercial vehicles and parking downtown overnight and the fee for a permit to do that. Basically, we're going back to the way it initially was, which if you have a commercial vehicle and you want to park downtown overnight, you need to go to the police department and get approval for that. And you have to demonstrate that you need to park downtown at night because you're doing some sort of work downtown. The other thing, and there's going to be a new fee for that too, but I don't remember what it is right now. I think it was $1,000.
For a year?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Downtown. I don't remember what it was.
And it has to be because you're working?
Yeah. We have a real problem with commercial vehicles parking downtown overnight.
You mean like anybody just parking?
It seems to be a lot of off-island contractors who park in residential areas and leave their cars overnight and on weekends to go back and come back later.
Where are they supposed to put it?
Well, they could park in the town pier lot, although that gets to be a bit of an issue too. But that's why we kind of fixed up the 2 fairgrounds lot. So
what does it cost to park out there?
Right now, that is a free lot.
Okay.
It's probably not going to be free forever, but it's free now. So park out there.
Yeah.
Or, figure it out. Okay. The bigger discussion had to do with expanding the residential parking district in the Sunset Hill area. Over the summer, we had a petition to include the Sunset Hill Lane in the residential parking district. We had a public hearing on it in September, and there were some neighbors who came in, talked about some in favor, some opposed. After some internal discussion, there was a recommendation developed that we should do it and we should include Westchester Street in the residential parking district.
What does that mean?
The residential parking district is a district where If you do not have a residential parking permit, meaning you would own property in the district,
Ah,
then you can only park there for limited periods of time, like 2 hours. It's a 2-hour district. So you couldn't park there overnight.
well, what if somebody
Or all
was
day.
renting their house to somebody and they had a car?
They can get a residential parking permit. So if
Yeah, but
you,
no, but I'm saying let's say it's an Airbnb situation and the people brought their car over for 2 days, they need parking. They can't park on the street?
do you know, I don't know the answer to that.
Because that's an important,
I
that
think
needs to
they,
be
I think
addressed.
that through the owner of the property, they can get a permit
I
because
see.
it is specific to that property. So it's unlikely to be the owner isn't going to be in the Airbnb with the people.
Okay,
So
Wow.
they would be able to do that. But if I work downtown, which I do, and I decided that I don't want to get a ticket by parking in a 2-hour
Oh, I
zone,
see.
or I don't want to keep moving my car every 2 hours, I could go out theoretically to beyond the residential parking district. So right now, or prior to last night, the Sunset Hill was outside of the residential parking district, so I could park there all day. And then, so the argument is
that's
that
a long walk to go from,
it's not that far. It's a
Okay.
nice walk, quite frankly.
you've done it before?
Yeah, I used to do it all the time. Actually, I take that back. Before I had a town manager designated spot, I took the shuttle all the time. Or I parked at Silver Street and walked in. Beautiful walk.
Can people do that now?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
So what happened?
the board approved the recommendation to include Sunset Hill and Westchester Street in the residential parking district.
So we would probably see fewer cars on Westchester Street.
Possibly.
Because that's
Yeah.
an interesting traffic area too, because everybody parks.
Well,
You gotta let people go.
you do, and there's been a little bit of discussion in traffic safety about should we try figuring out a one-way scenario between Westchester and, I forget what the other street would be, maybe Gardner. I mean,
Okay.
they're both difficult two-way streets because of the parking.
Oh, that. I don't
Or
know
do
about
you
that.
say no parking? I mean, yeah, I don't know about that either. More discussion to be had on that. That's come up routinely for years. Okay. We also had some continued discussion about the fiscal 19 general fund budget, which town administration presented its recommendations on at last week's meeting. And based on last week's input from the Board of Selectmen, we modified our recommendations a little bit and had some different scenarios for the board. And they had some discussion about it and basically endorsed the revisions that we made. And those will get posted online at some point soon. Next stop is FinCom, Finance Committee.
Mhm.
We had an update about the harbor, from the Harbor Place Work Group regarding a memorandum of understanding with the Harbor Place owners. So Harbor Place is the area where the current fuel tank farm is. And once the tank farm is moved out of town, which is going to happen in the next couple of years, that property is going to be developed by the owners. And there are 3 owners, none of which is the town. However, depending on how the development progresses, it is likely that there would need to be some zoning changes, which require town approval. And the owners are looking for town input into how the development gets, how it's going to look in the end and what's going to be in it. Part of it is a proposal for an intermodal transportation facility. We have a separate feasibility study going on right now as to what it would look like for the town to own and or operate it. And that would include contracting it out, obviously, for somebody who knows how to run parking garages and intermodal transportation facilities to run. So we have a work group that has the chair and vice chair of the Board of Selectmen and the planning board on it and some staff people. The meetings are open to the public, and we had one the other day. And the idea was to talk about the status of the feasibility study. So we had the consultant doing the feasibility study showing potential concepts for the transportation facility, which include the parking garage. And we started talking about the elements that would be in a memorandum of understanding between the town and the owners. So for example, who's in charge of putting in the roads and maintaining them, and what sort of zoning relief is needed, and what does the town get out of this? What do the owners get out of this? legal parameters. The site has to be cleaned up because there are some contamination issues in certain areas. There are Chapter 91 implications. Chapter 91 is a state law that requires public access in waterfront areas, things like that. So the board had an update about that, and there's a lot more to be done on this.
Did a lot of people attend it?
There were 2 or 3 citizens that attended
Okay.
the meeting this week.
Were there
Yep.
visuals of this thing already?
There were some visuals, but they weren't publicly distributed, and I don't even know if I ended up with a copy because I think right off the bat, there was a misunderstanding a little bit, or a misunderstanding a little bit about the brick building that's there now. So this is the brick building that faces the Greenhound building.
Yeah.
And that is an historic structure that is unlikely to get HTC approval to be removed, so it will have to be readapted somehow. And because I'm not sure there was a total understanding that that building has to be worked into something, so I think there needs to be a little bit of going back to the drawing board on a little bit on some of the concepts.
That'll be nice when we see
We
some
talked about
visuals
that.
so that we
Yeah.
can really...
And those are meant to be coming very
The
shortly.
Greenhound building would be available for something else.
No, well, potentially.
I mean, if it-
yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah,
potentially.
potentially.
All right, that was pretty much it for the Board of Selectmen's meeting last night. We do not have a meeting next week, the 27th, and as of yesterday, we also do not have a meeting on January 3rd. We're back at it on January 10th.
Nice.
Yes, for you
Nice
and
break.
for you and me.
You
too.
got it.
So that's what's going on, and I'm looking through my book here to see what other things might be going on. There's a surprising amount of town activity that is occurring in January and February with the budget and town meeting and the capital projects and this Harbor Place matter, and a lot of plans are some amount of planning is underway for Mattocket water quality and coastal resiliency, and we've got some new hires that are out there waiting to be hired, positions that we're waiting to fill, I should say, and the Island Home is something that we're continuing to work on. Lots of stuff going on.
All right.
And it's getting a little cold out now. That's the first day of winter. It's chilly
You're
today.
right. Yeah, it is cold.
What time is it? Quarter
Yeah,
to 12. It
yeah.
just turned into the first day of winter
Yeah,
15
right.
minutes ago.
Right.
All right, what else
That's
you
about
got?
it,
That's
Libby.
about it?
Yeah.
All right, so thanks very much. See you next time.